Okay, let's try that again. If you were trying to watch a couple of minutes ago, something happened. I lost my signal, which is fine. I just had to log back in again, and I deleted the previous one, which was good because I labeled it day 6 and it really is day 7. So, day 7 of my 12 days of Christmas. Today I am going to take a page, sort of just a saying, but I'm going to do a card that we did last night in my Christmas card class at the studio here in town. And I thought I'd do it because it's a quick card, but it gives you a nice technique using the stamping off with the ink. All right, so in last night's class, they got a kit to make 8 sets of 8 cards, 2 of each of 4 cards. So, and they got a package of rhinestones. So, for those that are watching that took the class last night, this might just be a refresher, or just you can move along to something else if you don't want to watch it. But I really like this card, and there were a few new girls in the group, and it was so much fun. I love teaching a class when you have new people. I love teaching classes, but I love when you have a new person that card. Can you guys see me? Is anybody? I see some. Uh-oh. It just got really lousy. This is what happened a minute ago. Huh. I'm going to try. Should I try again? This is horrible. I'm going to try again. 3rd time's a charm, let's hope. So if you're watching, oh, buffering. Yeah, it's really, what are you doing watching, Sue? Wait a sec, this is a different Sue, isn't it? Do I have 2 friends that are Sue Lewis? What's it doing on your end, Sue? Is it really blurry? Because the way it looks on my end, it's really blurry. But you're saying it's buffering. Sometimes it clears up. I hope it clears up. I'm looking because oh, yeah, you're a different Sue Lewis. Oh, isn't this interesting? Because Sue Lewis was in my class last night. It's not too blurry. Oh, I think it just cleared up. I'm trying to look at your picture on Facebook because I don't think you're the same Sue Lewis. But anyway, I think it cleared up now, and I look a little crooked, so let me see if I could fix that. It's always, the minute I get my camera set the way I want it, I go and move it. All right, so it's not too blurry now. I think it's cleared up. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to make this card. So I put the card kit away. But, so is it better now, Sue? I think it's better. I think it just took a minute to clear up. I think I'm still different one. All right, I thought so. I think both of you were watching the other day, because one I think is Susan and one is listed as Sue. Isn't that funny? Because she's on her way somewhere, so I thought it was strange that she'd be watching. Okay, so couple things I want to tell you ahead of time is this is all cut up because I supplied it to the people in class, but these were star designer elements that I had, and I thought I needed something different for the top of the tree. If you don't have any of these, there is, where did I put it? There are some stars called Cute Stars. They came out in the Halloween, but you could probably use this kind of purplish one, because I don't know if you can see that with it being, hang on, so glaring, but it's kind of iridescent, so it might look okay on the card if you don't have it. So I'm going to put these away because I have these, and I always, even though they're retired, I like to save things because you just never know when you're going to use them. All right, so first things first, I need to have out my Real Red ink and my Old Olive ink. And I need some dimensionals. And I need the big Christmas tree. Now these are all from the evening. Let me get the stamp set out. Evergreen Elegance stamp set. Right? And this is this is one of those cards that to me anyway, it looks really pretty. One of the things we're going to do today is we're going to use some Winter Stella on it. We didn't do it last night. And I kind of think now I wish I had. So you need an old olive card base, right? Let me put some stuff around. So I'm going to use my, gosh, I'm going to have to grab, hang on one second. Sorry about that. I realized that my adhesive and my tools, my little tool cup, was all in the other room because I hadn't totally unpacked from last night's class. But anyway, it was a very fun evening. And let's see, I think I has me all dirty. I grabbed I know I'm making a lot of noise, sorry. All right, so you're going to take your cardstock base. So this, like I said, was, excuse me, it's old olive and 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Okay, so I burnished the score line. Oh my goodness, can I talk? I burnished the score line with my bone folder. All right, so now we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to get some grid paper out. I want to move some stuff around, and I've been doing a lot of these without my grid paper, and I realize that I'm going out of the image area, the video image area, so that you guys have trouble seeing me. So I'm going to go back to doing the grid paper, and it'll help me know that this is the image area. And by the way, I redid my little label here. So for the first half of December anyway, if you shop with me and use my host code and spend $35 or more in product, you'll get my December card class to go for free. And you need your own stamps and ink and adhesive. But I give you, like I just showed you, very similar. I use one stamp set usually when I do a card class to go, so that you don't have to buy too many stamp sets. Sometimes people just use what they have and they just use my cardstock kit. But I cut the DSP, which is the designer paper. I cut the cardstock. I do any punching and die cutting that I can for you. And if it has to be stamped and then die cut, you would need to do that on your end. So I do whatever I can. I even tie bows sometimes, if I can get away with doing it ahead of time. Sometimes, if you have to tie a ribbon around something and then tie a bow, you might need to do it yourself. But I usually try to do as much as I can for my customers, because I know that they like getting the kits. I make my kits how I would like to get them, all cut and prepped and ready to go. So I can sit down, I can grab my ink and stamp set and my adhesive and just start playing. All right, so let's see. Let's start with the base. All right, we're going to use Old Olive ink, and we're using the large tree stamp. And oh my goodness, this is kind of dirty. I haven't even, like I said, I haven't even cleaned up after class. Now we're doing the background now, so you can see in the behind the red and white cardstock. And all I'm doing is I'm going to stamp the tree at different intervals, like on and off. The one thing you do want to be careful of, I'm not sure if you can see it on here, but if you look at my stamp, can you see how there are lines because of where I went off the cardstock? You don't ever want to stamp, and then if you're going to stamp again, you don't want to have the edge of where the cardstock was come out on your paper. Now I'm not sure if, because I've already stamped this once, whether you'll see what I mean, but let's see. This is just a blank piece of cardstock, and let me stamp this. I'm thinking that you're going to see lines in it, and see how you can see that? See how it's darker here and there's a lighter stripe? That's because I was going off the edge of the cardstock. So if I took this, and it doesn't look that bad on this pine tree, but you wouldn't want it done, you wouldn't want to do that if this was your image. You wouldn't want to see something like that, because just, it's just the way you stamped that some of the ink came off on the grid paper, right? And the rest of it's on the cardstock. So whenever you're doing something like this, be aware of that. That's just, I'm just trying to kind of telling you just a tip. I like to think of these tips. So see, now when I turn this over, you can see that there was this image, this area on my stamp. Let's see if I can hold that there for a second and let you see it. There's that image, there's kind of a stripe of full strength ink, and that was this little blip here that didn't hit the paper between the cardstock and the grid paper. So I have actually that extra ink there, and the rest of it's already been taken off. So that wouldn't make a good stamp. But if I was doing a shorter one above that area, I can do a lighter tree like that, see? But if I had gone higher, you would see that, you would see the difference in the stamping. So if you want to avoid that, you may use a little extra ink, but ink up. You do your dark one, right? Ink up, do a light one, do it, stamp off, and then stamp on. And then you don't have to worry about that. Full strength, stamp off. No, I'm sorry, ink up again, stamp off, and then get your lighter one. All right, so I want a lighter one over here now, so I'm going to stamp off and stamp there. So now I have my trees all done in the background. In fact, I think I want to put another one here, but I want it lighter, so I'm just going to stamp off there. Just to get a little bit of background. Let's see, this is all going to be covered. I think that's good now. I think that's good. All right, so you do mess up your grid paper, but that's what it's there for. If you guys don't know, we do sell this grid paper. It's actually 11 by 17, so it's a nice big piece. I just fold it up. I find it better for me to kind of stay in this little area when I'm recording a video. Otherwise, I kind of go off somewhere. All right, so that was your card base. So we have some more trees to stamp. Now this piece here is 3 by 3.5. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one, I don't know why I closed the ink up. I'm going to stamp the tree right in the center. I'm going to have it go off because I don't want the very bottom of it showing. And I'm just going to, it doesn't have to be centered, but I'll use my grid paper to kind of line it up. But just kind of eyeball it in the center of your page, right? Just like that. Now I want to do some lighter ones. And I could go next to it, but then see that? There's a good showing of that like strip of ink that you don't want to have that. So I'm going to ink up and stamp off. And then I'm going to put a tree. I think I'll go a little lower this time, but I'm having it go off the bottom of the page, piece of cardstock, and off the right side too. So that's why it's good to have your grid paper. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Oops, on the left side, take off some ink and do this one over here. All right, so now I have 3 shades of trees. I mean 2 shades, even though I only have 1 shade of ink. So let me show you. I did this on, I don't know whether it was yesterday's or the day before, 12 Days of Christmas. But if you have 1 ink color, you can get multiple colors out, multiple shades from that 1 ink color. I'll show you. So this is full strength, right? First generation, we call it. Then second generation. Third generation. Let's see how far we can go. 4th generation. And now 5th generation is going to be really light. See that? So there's 5 shades of Old Olive. Because you might have something that you want this shade, this lightness, right? So you don't do it full strength, you do it second strength. All right, so, and these are kind of things, sometimes I do this and I'll save this just so I have an idea of, then I don't have to go through and figure out what shade I want to do. But anyway, that's it for the stamping of the Old Olive ink. And now we're just going to stamp. Oh, no. I have one more thing I want to do. And we didn't do it in class. Did I? Huh. Maybe I didn't. Did I bring it? Maybe I didn't bring it. Maybe we're not going to do it. I thought I had one more stamp with me. But no, I don't see it. Oh, well. I was going to stamp another tree on the inside, but maybe we'll stamp, see, we're going to stamp this we're going to stamp. We're going to do something different. That was a different stamp set. I want to stick with the same stamp set. We're going to stamp this one with red. But I think I'm going to take that green again. I thought I pulled out the smaller tree stamp from this. See this one here? This smaller tree. I was going to put that in the corner, but I think I'm just going to have to take this one. And I think what I'll do is I'll do it full strength, right? And then I'll do a lighter one, just like that, all right? Just on one side. All right, so now we're done with the green ink. Because I don't know where I put that little tree. I hope it's just left out in the other room. All right, let's go with the red now. So now I have a strip that is, give you the measurements, it is 4 1/4 by 3/4. All right, this was the inside mat, which is 4 by 5 1/4, if I didn't say so. So now we're gonna stamp the Merry Christmas from the stamp set in real red. We'll ink this up. Boy, did I make a mess of my grid paper today. And I'm gonna stamp it right in the middle of this strip. Just eyeball it. Good. And then while we have the ink open, I'm going to stamp this, may the beauty of this, excuse me. Hi, Donna. Thanks for the tip. Oh, you're welcome, Tommy. Thanks for watching. All right, so may the beauty of the season bring you joy and warm memories to cherish throughout the year. So I'm going to do this in real red, right in the center. Now, if you're a little crooked, it's a little smudged, a little, you know, whatever. Oh, look at that. Here I go and say it. I was going to say, don't worry about it. Flip, and I did it. Flip the page over, do the other side. And now I will have to get out my tree stamp again, but that's okay. I didn't clean anything. I have it right here. But that's why, here's another tip. That's why when you are doing your cards, don't paste this. Don't adhere this to the inside of your card until you're done stamping, because you lose that other side of the paper and then you'll waste it. So that's another tip. All right, here's a tip how to locate your adhesive. Sometimes I can't find things. All right, so now I'm going to put this on the inside. Now, if I had glued it down first and stamped and made a mistake, I wouldn't have been able to do it again on the back side. And I didn't make that I didn't make that mistake on purpose, but it was perfectly timed. All right, so there we have that. So now we're going to take, this piece is a 1/4 inch larger than our white piece. So this is 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. Where did I put, oh, it's under here. I thought I lost it for a second. So I'm going to adhere, this is going to go flat onto the red. Okay. And right like this. Just like so. Right, now this is going to go up on dimensionals. So let me grab some dimensionals. Oh, you know what I want to do too before I do this? I want to put some Wink of Stella on our trees in the background. So I'll put this down like this. But I want to get, if you guys don't know about Wink of Stella, this stuff is so much fun to use. If you are going to squeeze it out, if it needs to get, this is fairly wet, but if you were going to get more out of it, if yours was dry, I don't know if you can see the ink in the barrel here, the paint or the glitter paint, as it drip down. I don't know if you can see that as I squeeze it. Don't squeeze it onto your card. See how it drips out? You don't want to do that. This is glitter paint, and it's really, really fun. My brush is damaged. I'm going to have to trim that down. But never squeeze it onto your project. Always squeeze it onto a scrap piece. Once you get it going, then you can use it. And I'm just going to, because you don't want it dripping on your page. I think I have to do a little surgery first, because I do remember, it wasn't at last night's class, but it was at a different class, and one of the girls didn't know that you just needed a gentle touch with this. And she was, She's a little aggressive. And, gosh, let me use a different, these scissors I think are sharper. I can almost can't see it. You probably can't even see what I'm doing, but it was like she, and she didn't know. It wasn't her fault. It was the first time using it. But when she was using it, she had pressed it all the way down so the bristles were out like this. So by the time I realized what she was doing and got her to change what she was doing, it was too late. The bristles were already kind of messed up. So I'm just going to go, let me see if I'll hold this up so you can see what I've done. It's very hard for the Wink of Stella. It doesn't really pick up on the camera unless I put it at an angle. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a good angle. And I have my, I don't know if you can see it. There. Oh, right there. Can you see that? I'm just kind of, watch how I do it. I'm just kind of just doing little brush strokes. Nothing major. Just a little flick here and there, right? And I'm going to do that on, you know, all the trees in the background. We didn't do this in class. I don't know, I guess I didn't think of it. But it adds this Wink of Stella brush. You can get it on donnasingleton.stampinup.net. I think it's like $8. But it's fun to add to things. If you've got kids that do craft projects, it's kind of fun to use because it's just putting a little bit of glitter. Let me go a little bit zigzag like this. Oh, this whole section isn't going to even be seen. I don't know why I'm bothering. So I'm just going to keep going back and forth on this, just like that. And this little one in the background, and then a little bit of here. Right? We'll see the bottom, so I'll make sure I'll do the bottom of the centerpiece. And that's it. So what do you think? You see the glitter on it? I can see I didn't do too much over here. I don't know. Can you see that? Maybe? You know what I was thinking? I just thought of something else that we didn't do in class last night. But it might be kind of messy. So you take your glitter brush and you got to bang it on. Not bang it, but let me see if this is going to work before I go and do it. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna do some sprinkles, all right, with my Wink of Stella. And I'm gonna just do this, and you might not be able to see it until I pick it up. So if any of you guys that took the class last night, because I teach at a studio here in town, oh, this is gonna be pretty. We didn't do this last night, but I wish I had thought of it. All right, so that's Wink of Stella, as much as I want to go. I'm going to have to set this aside to dry. Can you see that? Lori, I was afraid you were watching. I'm sorry. I didn't think of it till today, till just now. Now you tell us. I'm sorry, Lori. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do this because you want the Wink of Stella to dry. Would you like me to send you some more card bases so you can redo it? I didn't see your name here, so I said, oh, well, I know Susan was at the class from yesterday. A couple of you were watching. You want me to send you? I will make you a couple of new kits for this. I promise. In fact, I will give them to you when I give you your mini glue dots. So I'm just letting that dry a little because in some spots it was thick, and it still needs to dry a little bit more. But let me see if you can see that sparkle. Oh, Lori, I'm sorry. I just didn't think of it. And think about it. We would have made a mess. But, so there, I don't know if you can see it, but now it looks like a starry night. Oh, Lori. All right, so I'm going to have to be careful because some of it might still be wet. But I'm going to do Wink of Stella just on, I think I'm just going to do the center tree. Just for something different. All right. because we're putting the star on the center tree. I'm still laughing. You caught me. Well, maybe I did that. Maybe it wasn't that I just thought of. Maybe I just wanted something different from last night. You should probably do this before you, just in case. I don't want to get it on the red, so just be careful that you don't get it on the red if you don't do it beforehand. So the Wink of Stella does have to, this Wink of Stella glitter brush should be a staple in your toolkit, because look at how I took a plain card, sorry Lori, a plain card, and now it's going to be sparkly. All right, so this is going to take a minute to dry, right, because all our inks dry fast. But the Wink of Stella does take a little bit, like if I tip that, see, you can see a little bit of glitter on my fingers. All right, so this is going to end up going across on dimensionals, but we're going to cut the ends at an angle. So I'm just going to put dimensionals just in the center. I'm going to stay away from the two ends. So I'm going to put them just like this. Oh my God, I'm cracking up at you still, Lori, that you all of a sudden you're here. So I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to put this. I want to see most of the tops of my tree, so I'm going to put it right about here, right? I'm going to do it towards me for a sec. Just like that, and then you're going to take your scissors, and you're going to cut it at an angle. You could cut it ahead of time, but sometimes I like to cut it once it's on here so I can see whereabouts I want to cut it. Just like that, right? And then, so this, we already put the, let me get that off of there. We already put the dimensionals on. I got to grab my Take Your Pick tool. Here's another staple that you all should have. This is the Take Your Pick tool, and it's got different ends that go over here, but I leave it this end in. It's got a spatula in case you have to like lift, kind of pull things apart or lift up dimensionals or something. But this putty end is the greatest for picking up your rhinestones or sequins pieces. But I like the tip end to grab off these the backings to my dimensionals, because I grab them all. I can usually get 5 or 6 at once, and then I can just grab them off of there and stick them in. All right, this is probably not totally dry, but the bubbles kind of went down, so they're flat now. Isn't that pretty? And so this is just going to go just like this, right? I'm going to do something different too, Lori. I'm going to put my rhinestones in this sky, I think. Let's see. So like I said, these stars are retired. I don't know if this will pick it up. They're kind of big. Yeah, it did. I'm going to put that one right there. So pretty. I love these stars. I wish they'd make these in silver. I think those would be like a huge seller. Seller? Is that a word? I know seller is a word, but I don't think I used it correctly. But those are really pretty. It's like a little metal star. Okay, so we need where did I put them? We need some, hang on. Oh, here they are. Oh my goodness. I'm going to need a new sheet of rhinestones. Now here you'll see as I pick up these rhinestones how it just grabs them, and then you can put them where you want it on your card, right? Oops. Of course I say that and then it falls off, right? Just put it where you want it it sticks to the putty. I'll show you again. I didn't press it hard enough. See that? How cool is that? Look how pretty it is, but it needs something here. Do you think I should have done the Wink of Stella? Should I splatter this with the Wink of Stella? I'll have to do a little bit of a masking, but what do you think? I might want to do that. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to take some, I'm winging it here. I'm going to take some Post-it notes. I don't want it all over my card. All right. Let's see if this is going to work. No wink now. No, I'm like living dangerously, Lori. I'm going for it. I think I can do it. I think I can. I don't know if it'll show up. It might get on the star too, but I think I can wipe it off. It just needs something, and I don't know if I wanted to put... It's coming out very little. I don't... Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to have Wink of Stella all over the place. I just don't want to squeeze it because too much will come out. And then, so I got some on the right side, but you guys okay with covering the card? Yeah, if you cover it, you don't want to do it on top. Oh, there, good. Oh, I feel like, what was it those, you know, they do that rain dance and they slap the sticks. So then you could go back in and do little drops, not a drop, but I'm very lightly touching the brush down in case there's a spot that you want to add. Because I was thinking maybe of adding some rhinestones, but I think this will be better. So let's see when I take this off now. Nice. Oh, I like that. What do you guys think? Okay, so that is today's class. Oh, you know what I'll do? Since we're going all out with the Wink of Stella, I'm going to have to do it on the inside too. You just got to be careful because sometimes you can pick up some of the ink and it'll get all smudgy. I don't know if you can see this down here. See how it's kind of green is coming off? You don't want to get it all blurry, so just have a light touch with it. Going to blow that a little. So there is the card. It's a little different from our original one that I had for the class last night. See? I know this looks kind of plain now. Look how pretty this looks with the Wink of Stella. So if you don't have one of those, you should get one. Because they're great to have. Okay, with cover. What else is going on, you guys? Anybody else have any comments? Yes, I think Lori is right as far as the Wink of Stella being as part of your toolkit. I would say if I was starting stamping, I would make sure I had a bone folder. I would have, oh, I got Post-it notes all stuck to my arm. Wink of Stella. I'd have our paper snips. What else? I'd have actually 2 paper snips. One to use for cutting anything, cardstock and adhesive. One, I put a ribbon on, and I just use that for trimming ribbon. The Take Your Pick tool is fabulous. What else? Besides, you know, your regular adhesive. Of course, you want dimensionals and stuff like that. Oh, your scrubber. This is something that you should have. You could buy the chamois, and the chamois, you wet it, and it's a little, like kind of almost like a piece of foam. And you wet it, and you can use that. You just need regular water. But I like, this is our Stampin' Scrub. It comes like this, right? And it has little droplets in one corner up here. I don't know if you can see them. And a sun right there. And that signifies wet and dry side. But I put little Dymo label maker I used. And put little note, wet and dry. So I know. And then you buy this Stampin' Mist stamp cleaner, right? And you spray the wet side. And that way, when you clean your stamps, you scrub them. This is called a scrub. You scrub them on the wet side, and then you go on the dry side. And then you have a nice clean stamp. So that's what I'll do now. I think I put a little too much spray because I was showing you twice. But you do the wet side and then the dry side, and then your stamps are all set to be put away. Just like that. So that's something that I would get. The scrubber and the Stampin' Mist. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, you know, besides your regular glue dots and all that kind of stuff. But always have some Post-it notes too. That's always good to have. And the grid paper. This grid paper is good. See, it's nice and big. We've got the imperial measurements, you know, in inches on one side. And then we have the metric on the other side, depending on where you live. But a blocker, yeah, your blocks. You always want, if you were only going to buy one block, if you could only buy one block, I would buy a block D because that fits everything. There's all that, we have like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 different sizes, A, B, C, D, E. They're all lettered. This is a good one to have too, because that helps with sentiments. This is an older block I have. It's a Stampin' Up! Block, but they don't sell it anymore, but that's a good size. But if you didn't have it, we do sell this one, so it's a little bit longer, which is good because it can fit longer things. But yeah, I think that Red Rubber and Cling, same spray. Yes, Sue. Yep, you can clean both on the scrubber. And in a pinch, if you had to, you could use a baby wipe to clean your stamps, but I wouldn't do that, you know, on a regular basis. I would just use the chamois, or I would use, like I said, the scrubber with the mist. I think that's a better way of cleaning things. I love the scrubber. I keep it right off to the side. You know, I close it when I'm done with it only because you don't want to get any like little hairs and stuff, because I do have a kitty cat, which I'm surprised she's not. Usually when she hears me talking on these videos, she comes out and I think she thinks I'm talking to her. So I guess that's it. So a bone folder, and take your pick tool, paper snips, you know, besides the regular, you know, adhesives like dimensionals and glue dots and adhesive runner and tear and tape, or the liquid glue is another thing, that another adhesive you could use. But there's lots of tools, but for your basic stuff, that's what I would use. So that is it for now. This was let me get everything back in order. This was day 7 of my 12 days of Christmas. And I'll be back tomorrow for day 8. And so I want to get this up here again so you can see the shimmer. So pretty, right? I think you can see it. Sometimes the Wink of Stella doesn't show up very good, but I'm trying to tip it a little, because if you hold it a certain way, sometimes the camera will grab it. But otherwise, you don't necessarily see it. So I'll just kind of move it around a little bit. But anyway, so that was day 7 of my 12 days of Christmas. And, oh, you can go to my blog, donnascreativespace.com, and download. I have all of the sheets so far. This will be up there this afternoon. It won't be there right away, but I have yesterday's. We used the paper pumpkin to make a couple of cards, but these are all things you can download for free. There's the snowman. We made this really cute. Oh, I love this one. Let me show you. I have it behind me. I think this is my favorite day. Day 4 was my favorite day. We made this very pretty fun fold card using the Whimsy and Wonder paper. And then this was day 3. We made this cute bag box out of designer paper. And then we did a couple of cards on day 2. And then on day 1 we did this gift card holder out of our note cards and envelopes. So all these are available right now on my blog, donnascreativespace.com, for you to download for free if you want to learn how to make them. And if you're watching this on YouTube, because I'm going to upload this from Facebook to YouTube right after I finish, and please, while you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to build my subscriber list, and I would really, really appreciate your help. So hit the subscriber list, and while you're here at donnascreativespace.com, in the right side of the blog, underneath my photo, in the right sidebar, there's a spot to sign up to get my blog post. And in the top, so that's different, because every one of these is a blog post. Each day I put out one of these blog posts for the last 12 days. Well, the last 7 and 5 more. But when I do a blog post, I don't always send it in a newsletter. So my newsletter is something different. If you want to be on my newsletter, when you go to donnascreativespace.com, in the top section, the top menu, there's a spot for you to click on to add to my newsletter list, because that I don't send out as often. Newsletters only go out if there's a big sale going on, or beginning of the month, or when I'm advertising my card class to go. But the blogs might happen more often. So that's up to you if you want to be on both or one of them. And I'll mention it again. If you shop with me between December 1st and 15th and use my host code, there is a spot on your order. You'll see it when you're in your cart. There's a spot. It depends whether you're on a phone or a tablet or an iPad. But look around. You'll find a spot to enter a host code. It's not a coupon code. It's a host code. So if you put that in and you spend $35 or more before tax and shipping, you're going to get my December card class to go. And I'll give you a hint. It may contain a couple of fun fold cards. So that's kind of fun. All right, guys. Take care. I will be back tomorrow for another day of my 12 Days of Christmas. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and all that jazz. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.